Now then, I feel like we are getting a bit more into the portion of the video, or videos depending how you're watching this, where we already have some sort of foundation, right? We had the first game, introducing the series, we had Mario Kart 64, enhancing the series, giving us 3D. I feel like this is going to be one of the shorter videos, because Mario Kart Super Circuit, first off, if you know anything about this game, it's a game on the Game Boy Advance, which means it's a handheld game, which means that's very impressive, if you ask me. Early 2000s, being able to put a Mario Kart game on your handheld, I think that's impressive. It was one of the first games announced even. It's a very early Game Boy Advance game, which you can tell by its color palette. The Game Boy Advance games, you probably have heard this already a million times. The early games, they used to have their color palette very saturated, very like a very light color palette. Even if the game looked great, the game will be very bright. That's because the Game Boy Advance screen, the original model anyway, it wasn't very light. The screen was very dark. They were taking inspiration from the Game Boy there, instead of the Game Boy Light, which included a backlight, but whatever. Nintendo's Nintendo, always weird choices, every time. But the game looks great, don't worry, it looks a bit dark on original hardware, but other than that the game looks great. And if you can, do play the Virtual Console on Wii U, or you know this channel, you know I emulate.
Drink up, me hearties, yo-ho.
You can go and do that, but if you want a legal way, or more legal I guess, Wii U. But the game looks great. Outside of the color palette, but yeah, it looks great. You can tell, first thing outside of it being a Game Boy Advance game, the game is a mix, it's a combo, it's a combination. Since obviously the Game Boy Advance, at least in its very early stages, could not handle 3D, some games later on did do some sort of 3D, but obviously at the beginning you won't be able to handle it. This game is pretty much Super Mario Kart, so you know what that means. A lot of what I said in that video could be said here, but I think this game is better, for reasons I'm going to explain throughout this video. I don't want to be like, oh, just rewind to the Super Mario Kart parts, removes a little bit of the video, and that's it, move on to Double Dash. I am very much looking forward to Double Dash, but let's talk about Super Circuit first. We kinda have to, and, you know, it's a Mario Kart game, it means it's good, it's fun. But it being a handheld game on the Game Boy Advance does have its issues. But let's remain on the graphics part. So it's Super Mario Kart, right? It's a 2D game, sprite game, but it takes the character models from Mario Kart 64. Whether that is because Nintendo considered those looks their newest looks, or they didn't want to do new sprites for a new game. They took the pre-rendered Donkey Kong Country style looking character models from 64 and downgraded them to Game Boy Advance hardware. Which, yeah, knowing Mario Kart 64, obviously this looks worse, but I can't say this looks bad. I think this was very clever, and I think it's a good mix overall. Like, again, the game looks really good for a Game Boy Advance game. The sprite works very good. So I think this was a good idea. I think it was clever of them to do so, and I think it helps the game, because it makes the characters be... It's more telling where they are. They're a bigger sprite as well, so you can tell where everyone is. It feels like the render distance with the characters and the render distance overall. It definitely feels like they got the hang of it from Super Mario Kart. Super Mario Kart has some render issues, and sometimes you couldn't tell which is who's who, maybe, like from very far. That didn't happen often, but sometimes it happened. This way now, that there's no way this happens, because it feels like even though they're not models, they feel 3D. It's the fake 3D. It's the illusion. But it's a good illusion, it helps you, if that makes any sense. Naturally, this being a Game Boy Advance game, sort of triggers my aw, that's really cute, that sprite's really cute sort of feeling. This game gives me a lot of charm. This game feels very charming in the way that it's created. The sprite work is very, yeah, very charming. I don't know why. I had that thing. I didn't even grow up with the Game Boy Advance. I was a DS kid. But seeing the sprite work, playing the game, and playing different games on the Game Boy Advance, something like Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, I get those vibes. I get those charming, happy-go-lucky, friendly, colorful, funny, wacky sort of games, and it's very charming. It warmed my heart to play this game. It was really funny, even though I was yelling sometimes. We'll get to that. God damn it! Like I said, this game uses the Mario Kart 64 sprite work because they're technically not models, I guess. And the same roster. You don't get new characters yet. The new characters next video. So far, we stick to the exact roster from Mario Kart 64, but they added a little cheeky thing that I am surprised it didn't happen in the previous two games. They added random, but more importantly, they added character stats. You can, before you select your character, you can see their stats, which, you know how I used to mention in the other two videos, it's like, oh, Toad is light, but he's the fastest, or Luigi is balanced, or DK is heavy, but he's slowest. Well, you can see that now. Now they put a number, like 0 to 5, well, 1 to 5. They put a number for you to see it. It's like, oh, he's going to be the fastest, or he's going to be the heaviest. You can see that now, instead of just being, I assume the big monkey is going to be heavy. It's not a big change, but if you care for that sort of thing, Super Circuit Ghost, it covers you. He's got you. When you select the characters, you know how in 64 you had the iconic voice clips I talked about? They are still here, which is impressive, like, good on them for being able to somewhat maintain the 64 charm into this game. Obviously it's downgraded because hardware, of course. But the audio clips are... Luigi, my boy, I don't know what your voice is going through. I don't know if you are sick. I am sick too, maybe you can tell by my voice. But Luigi, my boy, what happened to you? Luigi, you sound sick. Are you okay, my man? Some did get off unscathed, like Mario sounds like Mario, like 64 Mario. But then you got shit like DK as well. Like, some clips sound weird. They're very compressed, you can tell the moment you hear them talk. It's very compressed. By the way, don't expect the same voiceovers as you got in 64. You know how you hit someone, or when you come out first in a race, the characters will be like, oh, I'm Luigi #1. Well, no. Game Boy Advance can't do that. You got a limited space, and if you want to talk about limited space, someday I'll talk about UMK3 on Game Boy Advance. Trust me. Yeah, Game Boy Advance Mario Kart. Some sacrifices had to be made. They're not the biggest sacrifices out there, but yeah, it's noticeable, especially when you're playing these games back to back. You can tell this is recorded way earlier compared to the other videos. This was meant to come out way earlier, but you is a bitch. I'm so sorry. So enough with the visuals. When we get to the tracks, I'll talk about the tracks visually, but for now, let's talk about the structure of the game, which, if you were nostalgic in 10 years for Super Mario Kart, which could make sense, we go back to that format. We got 5 cups again, with 4 tracks each. So, well, we sort of go back to the format, I suppose. It's not exactly the same, but yeah. 5 cups, 4 tracks each. And I think it's mixing both. Again, with the idea of, oh, 4 tracks, but 5 cups. I feel like it's trying to find like a mix of, oh, instead of 5 tracks and 4 cups, we do the reverse. It feels that way. But it's not a big deal. It's the same amount of tracks anyway. It's still 20. But I do get Super Mario Kart vibes from this instead of Mario Kart 64 vibes. What I do get Mario Kart 64 vibes from is the lap number. You remember how in Super Mario Kart it was 5 laps to compensate for the length of the track. They didn't care on this one. I take it because if it was a handheld game, which the whole point is for you to be able to drop it whenever. Like you're on the bus, you have to leave. Okay, drop it. Which I guess that's why it's 4 tracks instead of 5, but 5 cups to give you that amount of content. But yeah, the tracks are very short, obviously expected from a handheld. I will argue they're either the same length or shorter for the most part to Super Mario Kart. There are a few tracks here, especially in the latter cups, like Star Special Cup. They do go for longer, almost the same length as the Mario Kart 64 track, which is impressive. But it obviously means the harder tracks will be longer. That seems to be the design philosophy here. But most of the tracks are really short, maybe 1 minute each. 1 minute each. That's about it, how much you're going to get out of each track. The longest track I think is like 2 minutes something. So expect the Super Mario Kart length in this one, if I had to compare it to the previous games in the series. It's pretty much handheld length, so I think that's very comfortable. I think if you want a burst of Mario Kart, I think this game works very well with that. Obviously being a handheld game, which means burst of fun, you leave, you come back very easily. That makes sense. Talking about the track design itself, I never played this game before. I don't think so. Maybe the retrospective name doesn't work that well here because I don't have previous experience with it. This will be the last time that happens because I have played every game after this one. But what I was very surprised to see, like I was seeing all these similarities to Super Mario Kart, so I was like, okay, god damn it, we're going back to Donut Plains 4. We're going back to Bowser Castle 1, 2, 3, 4, Mario Circuit 1, 2, 3, 4, like in Super Mario Kart. But I am very pleased and happy to say they didn't follow Super Mario Kart on that end. And on the visual end, like on the hardware performance way, they did, because again, it's sprite work. It's not a race model, 3D race model like in Mario Kart 64. It's just sprite work rendered, your 2D guy on your 2D tracks, playing on your 2D plays. That's Super Mario Kart as hell. What they didn't follow on Super Mario Kart, which is what I think more important, it's on the track layout and the track theme or the track aesthetic. They took advantage of the Game Boy Advance so damn much on this, and it's like not so much like track design is nothing crazy, but they do have more shortcuts than Super Mario Kart, and they have natural shortcuts. What I mean by natural shortcuts means places you don't need a mushroom to get to. Like if you know what you're doing, if you have the control of your vehicle, if you have the dexterity, if you have the bravery to go for these shortcuts, you can go for them. Which is something that I think Mario Kart 64 didn't have that either. I think most shortcuts are with a boost, like you need a mushroom. Which is not a problem, I'm not saying that's a problem, but I like the idea of skill level shortcuts. I like that if you know the track, you get rewarded for it. I think that's pretty good. I think that's great. And Super Circuit does that, so I think that's very impressive. On the more important end, if you want to go it that way, the aesthetics are beautiful, the sprite work, the backgrounds, the theming is so beautiful in this game. They're definitely taking advantage of the Game Boy hardware, and they're taking advantage of the artists they had, because Jesus, these tracks are beautiful. Again, this gives me Superstar Saga vibes, with how colorful, how diverse they are. They're so good, it's so great. And what I love too each track before you select them on the on either the cups or the quick race mode, which lets you race a race, basically the precursor to versus mode in Double Dash, DS, Wii, and so on. Each track has its own art portrait, like its own drawing. Like, for example, you have, like, I don't know, Mario below a ton of snow, or Mario racing through Rainbow Road, or Toad being haunted by ghosts. I think these are so good, like, quality-wise, these are so good, and they're so adorable. Again, adding to the charm I was mentioning earlier, and adding to the effort. It's not just a Mario Kart on handheld. It has a lot of effort in places where it can take advantage of it. Like, maybe, sure, you cannot make a big 3D track. So instead, they make a 2D track which looks less impressive and can be technically worse, but they decide to make the most beautiful 2D track they can. And I think that's admirable. I think that's very, very admirable. Which makes these tracks more bearable, because they sure as fuck need it. The design of the tracks is good. Like, you won't see me complain about the level design, except on the first track of the Special Cup, which I'm so pissed off about it that I don't even bother remembering its name. I know it ends with Park, but I don't give a shit about this track because it fucking sucks. And so near the finish line, right, there is this turn that, no shit, if you turn too wide, you get punished by being sent across the track and basically halfway. So basically you lose half your progress. Obviously that means you're in last place, which means you're losing, which means it sucks because you have to do a lot of catch-up. I think that's stupid. I think that's awfully punishing for no reason. I get it's the Special Cup, I get it has to be punishing. But I don't know, make me eat shit in a lake or something. Why regress? I'd rather be much more hit by a hazard than seeing my progress be lost like this. Because this is far more punishing than any hazard in the game, let me tell you. Maybe that's why they're doing it, but I think this is just stupid. That's the only track I 100% hate. This is the one I say, no, fuck you. The rest are good, the rest are fine, and I suck at names, but this doesn't mean the tracks are memorable, because, again, the aesthetic is very good. It rivals Mario Kart 64's aesthetic, like theming. I think they go back hand in hand compared to Super Mario Kart's repetitious design, which I get what it was repetitious, but they managed to do more with the Game Boy Advance, is what I mean. That's why I think track design-wise and track aesthetic-wise, theming-wise, Super Circuit just trumps over Super Mario Kart big time. Not 64, but Super Mario Kart. Now, when you're playing these tracks, obviously it's not a 3D model, which means render distance for sprite work again, which means I get terrified again because I get Super Mario Kart flashbacks. But what this game cleverly adds, which I think Super Mario Kart would have benefited from, I think this is a very good idea, and arguably I want to see it come back in other games. Even if you don't need it, I think it's pretty cool. Because other racers do have this. Is when you're about to turn, let's say you have to turn left or do a U-turn or like a zigzag turn, the game tells you. Like the game outright on the screen says, oh hey, you have to turn left, oh you have to turn right, oh watch out, U-turn. The game tells you, it has a sign pop up. And I think that's pretty cool. I think that compensates a lot of the render distance issues some people may have. The render distance is better than Super Mario Kart, first off, let me tell you. It's not great, but I found it more bearable. But if that's not enough for you, which might as well be, especially considering the Game Boy screen I mentioned, obviously if you're playing this on a Game Boy Advance, a yellow sign will pop up more than a U-turn on a grassy plain. I think that was the intent, and I think it was a very good idea. I definitely congratulate the team for that idea. I think that's very good. It helps the player a lot. It helps the player that's distracted by the items and the Mario Kart chaos. You put another thing on the screen in a visible place. They put it above your character. It's not like, oh, hidden there in the upper right corner. No, you can see it. You see it very visibly. For the most part, sometimes it clashes with the backgrounds a little bit. If it's the background is like a sunset and it's too yellow, maybe it gets missed there. But it didn't lead me to, oh, a wall? Where was the sign? No. It was far more helpful than harmful. I don't think it was ever harmful. I didn't bonk into walls for no reason in this game. I could turn. It's important. but yeah, this sign, this pop-up, I think it's it was a good addition, even if sometimes it did blend in with background. But that was 1 out of 10 times. Don't worry about it. This will help you out if render distance sucks for you too. So something you probably have noticed so far, it's through the series, I care about control. Even with the other video, let's say like the Mario Galaxy video or the Melee video. Well, I don't remember if I talked about it a lot in the Melee video, I should have. But control. I care a lot about controls in a game. I am a big sticker for controls. Like if you watch, for example, the Sonic Forces stream, you hear me complain about the controls all the goddamn time. Because control matters so much to me, regardless if it's a fighter, a platformer, a racer, an RPG, even an RPG, a turn-based RPG, I care about how the menu controls, goddammit. So let's talk about the controls in a handheld dpad game. Which I think this is going to be a bit redundant. You probably heard me talk about this before in a certain Mario Kart Super. But we got a D-pad again. I'll be fair first. It feels better and it controls better than Super Mario Kart. I know it sounds like I'm giving Super Mario Kart a lot of shit, but it was the first game in the franchise. Of course it will get some stuff wrong that other games will evolve on. I get that, and I'm happy this is the last time I have to talk about a D-pad. Oh no, wait, the DS. Fuck. Okay. Never mind, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. We got the D-pad again, and turning is pretty much the same as in Super Mario Kart. You got if you hold, you'll do the basic drift, but you have to tap it to move left and right slightly. It's the same as Super Mario Kart. It feels a bit better because the tracks tend to be wider, but it's narrowly similar. It's very similar. What I do think it's improved a little bit is the drifting, and I said a little bit, so you know, you at least get the boost in this game, like in Mario Kart 64, and you get a more visual way of getting that drift boost. Like in Mario Kart 64, your character will go yee when getting the drift. Now you see like a burst, but how it's triggered is a bit weird. Sometimes I had to like jump. Like after the drift, I had to jump for it to trigger. Sometimes I didn't. I don't know. I couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure out how the drifting worked on that end. But drifting, it feels better than Super Mario Kart as well. It feels more tight. Like it feels like it won't go super wide. It's not outside drifting. It feels more like inside. Sometimes you do get that Super Mario Kart vibe of being super wide and then going super tight. But that felt more depending on the character weight rather than the control scheme of the game. So I don't recommend drifting often. If you see the chance to pull it off, I would recommend it because of the boost. But I don't think that's something you should be going for constantly, like in future games. So I'll talk about the future games later, obviously. But the really wide turn when you're not drifting and the somewhat tight turn of the drifting, of the actual drifting, sorry, it means you don't have that perfect middle spot as you could have in Mario Kart 64, where you drift and you could wiggle left and right. You can't really do this with a D-pad because you don't get the effect with the drift. It's just instant. You drifted, you boost. You don't get the control you want to get because it's either you start spinning around or you bonk into a wall. And so you don't have that 3D control that you had in 64, obviously, because it's a D-pad. So we went back to that problem. In that sense, we regressed back to Super Mario Kart. So that's why this feels, the controls section specifically, I was very concerned about what I would say, because I feel I have lived through this before. I have told you about this before already. so I didn't want to bore you again with this, but I noticed the drift differences, so I thought I had to talk about the controls again. The game controls fine, like, I'm not saying, oh, this is shit, throw your Game Boy Advance to the wall. I didn't say that with Super Mario Kart either, it just felt really awkward switching from 2D to 3D to 2D again, it just didn't feel right, and the designs tried to compensate this, and sometimes they succeed, but it's a D-pad control, man. I'm very much looking forward now to Mario Kart DS, to see how the 3D on a D-pad fixes or doesn't work. I remember it working, but I was 10 years old, okay? So I want to see this again. I am very much looking forward to that game. I want to end the D-pad trilogy, right? The game feels very much like a Super Mario Kart 2 or a Mario Kart 0.5. But I think it's more so of a Super Mario Kart 2, given specifically for the control scheme and the way the game looks sprite work wise. It doesn't feel like a beta to 64, it feels like a sequel to Super Mario Kart, which makes sense, Game Boy Advance and all. But I think these are a few issues. Like, I don't think this controls great, but I don't think this is the worst thing you've ever played either. Regardless, once you finish a race, you get rank here, like rank started to happen here. Back in Super Mario Kart on 64 it was just the cups, but here you get the cup and a respective rank regarding how you played. Like, did you use this many items, did you bonk into a wall, did you get this many coins? Yeah, coins are back, I'll talk about that later. And you get a rank. It can be, I think the highest rank is A or a star. I don't think it changes anything, like getting a higher rank is just for your sake, for like replay sake. It's not as Mario Kart Wii. Sorry. Oh god. Yeah, PTSD is going to hit that harder one with that one. But yeah, rank here is not a problem. You won't be bothered by rank. Nothing will bother you with rank. That's a 2008 issue. Okay. So rank's fine. It's a badge of honor and ability. Okay. Outside of the driving, like the driving, we talked about the controls already. But again, this is Mario Kart, so it's not just driving. So let's talk about the power-ups we have here. And again, like the character sprite work, the power-ups are taken straight out of Mario Kart 64. Except we had some small cuts, and some got lost along the way. Mushroom, we don't have 3 mushrooms anymore. It's just a mushroom, which is odd. It's a bit weird, because like the golden mushroom is here. Oh no, wait, no, it's... What do you mean it's gone? Oh shit, they're gone. They're both gone. Okay, so my take on why both are gone is because if you have 3 boosts or infinite, quote-unquote infinite boost, you will go through the track super quickly, which means, you know, the track will take less than a minute, which is not a good idea, which is not fair to the other players either, so I take it that's why they got removed. We do have the 3 shells back, so if you want multiple of an item, you got that. We don't have multiple bananas again for some goddamn reason. My bananas, my bowling ball sound effect bananas are gone. What, couldn't the Game Boy Advance render a bowling sound? God damn it. Okay, it wasn't that good of an item, I just loved the sound effect back in 64, I think that was very goofy. But shells are back. You still can't fire them, there are 3 shells, you can't fire them back yet, that's for the future. What I do find interesting is the red shell. I don't know if this is me being stupid and never noticing before in the other games. I think this is the only game where if you fire the red shell backwards, it actually tracks the opponent. I don't remember the other games doing this. I sure as fuck know the other previous 2 games didn't do this. But this game, if you fire a red shell back, it tracks the opponent. It's not just forward. When I saw that, I was mind blown. I was like, oh shit, I'm getting caught up. I hope this hits. And it tracked him. Like, I turned back and I saw him being tracked by the red shell. I thought, that's an amazing defense, mate. That's an amazing defense for the first player. for the first position player. They deserve that sort of defense. It's not broken. It's really good, don't get me wrong, it's really good. I think it would be broken if you could do it with 3 red shells, which I guess that's why you can't do it. But that was a great way of defending yourself. I thought that was amazing. I hope that's back in other games. I honestly don't remember. I don't really shoot red shells backwards that much. I typically save them if I get passed by the rubber banding AI, which I'll talk about it. Give me a sec. I'll talk about it. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I want to see that again. I think that's great. Items are definitely more fair than Mario Kart 64. Let me tell you that much. Oh yeah, also the red shells. They don't track the enemy anymore. Like, okay, hold on. That sounds bad. That sounds like an honest contradiction to everything I said so far. But no, what I mean is, you know how I complained about how if there was a wall in the way when you fired the red shell, it would just change course and hit the wall? Well, here that doesn't happen. They fixed that. It actually continues following the track and then hits the opponent. I think that's a great improvement, and this is the first game to do that. Which means Double Dash and all those, you should say thank you to Super Circuit, guys. Don't diss on the Game Boy Advance game, okay? He's got some moves, he's got some hands, okay? Don't be mean to him. But yeah, that genuine improvement, red shell clearly got the most love. I don't think the spiny shell is in this game, I haven't seen it. And all my research says contradictory stuff, so I'll take it as it's not there because I didn't see it. But I don't have any sources to back that up. As I said, coins are back. What my issue with coins, well, quote-unquote issue, I don't think this is bad, but it's annoying. Obviously, coins again, they give you speed. My issue with them is that you need to collect a certain amount of coins for you to unlock something that I'll talk about later. I think it's not hard to do because there are a fuck ton of coins, which means you can go really fast. But you can also lose coins very easily, which means if you lose a lot of coins, you'll just get destroyed by the CPUs. So I think there is a bit of a problem. I guess it's a high risk, high reward. But I don't know, I think you lose coins way too easily compared to what you need the coins for, both during the race and after the cup. So the CPU themselves, I am happy to say I didn't think the rubber banding was bad. I think the game was fairly balanced. If you succeeded in going ahead of the computer, there will not be 5 computers swarming you. I do think the game is a bit too rubber banded in favor of the player. I think it was very easy for me to catch up again to the CPUs if I lost my first place position. So I think I could call this one of the easier Mario Kart games, at least on the 100cc, which is what I used for the most part. Oh, by the way, the footage is 100cc. The 50 and 150 I did for myself, for experience purposes. And I did notice in 150cc, it's a bit harder to get to the first place given the speed. Especially if you're not used to how the game controls, it might feel a bit too fast with the d-pad and such, but mostly, like the game in its normal difficulty, I guess the way most people would play it, it was fairly easy to go back into the first position, and the second, the player behind you, that will be the one you will see the most. It's not like second, third, fourth, and fifth will be on your ass. It was just second place, which makes sense. So I think the rubber banding was actually very good in this game. I don't have to yell and complain about it this time. That's good shit. Good shit, Super Circuit. Huh. You thought I was just throwing shit at the game, huh? Ah, half an hour in, that's where the praises are. Skip to the half-hour mark if you want praises. Now, what do you get if you play all the 5 cups? Let's say you get first. You get first in all the 5 cups. You go through 20 tracks. You know how Mario Kart 64 gave you another title screen? It's a very good title screen, but I don't get really anything for it. Well, I get mirror mode, but it's mirror mode. What do you get? So if you get first place in all the cups, regardless of your rank, which I think is pretty cool. Regardless of your rank, if you get the 5 gold trophies, basically, and you have to get 100 coins in each cup, all across the 4 tracks. Which again, it's not hard. I didn't have an issue getting to 100 coins. Even though you can lose them very quickly, you can recover them very quickly. And so again, it's not bad, it's just annoying. You basically get a special version of that cup. You had the mushroom cup, I think you get a different mushroom cup. What does each of these one have? It's very it was very intimidating when I first saw this. Like, I knew this happened, I just seeing it for yourself is very intimidating. I think you press, like, if you press the triggers, the cup will switch and you'll see the entirety. And this is why I think this game overall is better than Super Mario Kart. Because it makes Super Mario Kart fucking obsolete. You get all of Super Mario Kart tracks, every single Super Mario Kart track. You can race in every single one. This game has 40 tracks. This game was the pioneer for the returning tracks in Mario Kart, which continues on DS. Double Dash skips this bit. We'll talk about that in Double Dash. Super Mario Kart has 40 tracks. It's the outside of Mario Kart 8 that's now getting DLC. This is the Mario Kart game that had the most tracks for the longest time, and I think that's admirable. Yeah, they're reusing Super Mario Kart, but the Game Boy Advance is basically a Super Nintendo, so I think that's great. They didn't have to do this, and they did it. I think this is incredible. I think this is very, very impressive. I think this was great to find for myself. Again, I already knew this happened, but seeing it for myself, I'm like, oh shit, there are 40 tracks here. I wonder if I can play it with my friends, right? Right? Oh. Multiplayer, the pinnacle of Mario Kart. Playing Mario Kart multiplayer is hilarious. Whenever I get my friends here, we play Mario Kart Wii and I love them. I love them for playing Mario Kart with me. I love them. They're so shit at the game. I love you guys if you're watching. I doubt you're watching, but who cares? How do you do that with a Game Boy Advance? You all played Pokemon, right? I'm pretty sure someone here watched or played Pokemon in some form or fashion. Do you remember how you traded Pokemon with a Game Boy Advance, with Gen 3 or Gen 1 remake? You needed the link cable. And so for multiplayer, you and your friend have to have a Game Boy Advance each and connect through the link cable. Which is cool. Not the link cable part, don't worry. Something I think it's cool is the fact that both of you don't need to have the game. What I don't think is cool is that if both of you don't have the game, let's say me and my friend try to play and I have the game and we link cable, we play the game. We play as Yoshi's, which is weird. I guess it's like Yoshi's like the demo character. You basically get a demo of the game. You get 5 tracks and you play as Yoshi's. I don't think that's that cool, but it's cool that it's there. But it's not fun inside 5 tracks. If you want the full game, you need to have both of you have to have a copy of the game each. It ain't charity, homie. Fuck you. This is Nintendo, fucker. But yeah, multiplayer is not easy to set up. Obviously, it's a Game Boy Advance link. You know the story already. It's not easy to set up. It sucks. Which basically means this game is single player mostly. The single player is there, 40 tracks. I think that's impressive. But you lose that appeal of multiplayer, which is the core of Mario Kart. I know I don't focus a lot on multiplayer through these videos because I don't have anyone to play with. Well, I probably do, I just don't tell them. But you lose that. It's not as simple as in Mario Kart 64 or Super Mario Kart even. That kinda sucks. But anyway. What I thought it was cool, and again, this is a pioneer for the future games, Super Circuit, regardless of its own originality, it did bring a lot of things that later games will take and refine. Which I honestly thought it started either in Double Dash or DS. I didn't know Super Circuit had all of this. It's basically, you know how I mentioned Quick Race before? You play a track random, and you select a track and you play. You can choose, in Quick Race, you can choose to put 5 laps like in Super Mario Kart. And you can choose to play with no coins like in Mario Kart 64. So you basically have Super Mario Kart again, but on a handheld, so you can play the tracks of Super Mario Kart, with the controls of Super Mario Kart, with the laps of Super Mario Kart. You have Super Mario Kart on your Game Boy Advance, and it looks better, because it's more colorful. I think that's great. Or you can have Mario Kart 0.5 before they realize how 3D worked. It's cool. I think that's cool. Again, that's very customizable. I have a lot of respect for this game suddenly. Not enough for it to be the highest rated Mario Kart, which I don't know how that happened. But yeah, I was satisfied with this game so far. Speaking of which, Mario Kart Super Circuit. It's not really original. I think it's the least original game in the franchise, if I'm not mistaken. You know, it mashes Super Mario Kart and Mario Kart 64 together. The tracks are very beautiful. Like I praise the sprite work. I think they look very well outside of the color palette they decide to use because of the Game Boy Advance screen. Control, I'm a bit miffed. I'm a bit upset about that, but I expected it was a D-pad game. I expect that it's... Nothing against racers with a D-pad. They're not the same as a 3D game, but obviously racers thrive in 3D. The D-pad just doesn't have the handle that an analog stick or a wheel has. So, you know, you're fighting an uphill battle there with me. But there are no new gimmicks, no changes from the other games. Mostly everything is brought back from the other games. Like, yeah, you have the 5 laps customization, the coins customization. It does implement the idea of bringing old tracks back to the new art style, new engine, new controls. But it's basically the same you have seen before, and I think this is where that will start to happen, outside of Double Dash. But this is when more Mario Kart games start to take from the older ones. And this one makes sense because, you know, first handheld game, they're probably reusing assets and whatever, they're downgrading the assets for the Game Boy Advance. But this is the least original game in the Mario Kart series. Again, it feels like a Mario Kart 64 0.5, or more importantly a Super Mario Kart 2, because I think that fits better to this game. Is it a good game? Yeah. Should you play it? I think so. It has some value, but seeing as more of these tracks get remade in the future games, it's always tricky to recommend older Mario Karts because of that. It's like, oh, you can come back to this and play the game in its entirety, in its original state, or you can go back to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that remade your track and added a lot of Mario Kart 8 gameplay you probably already enjoy. It's hard to recommend the older Mario Kart games. But I don't think I'll say... I think you should play this one. It's hard to play it. Like I mentioned, Wii U Virtual Console is probably your best legal way. At the time of this video, Game Boy Advance is not on the Nintendo Switch online service. So I think that's your best way if you want like a Nintendo approved way of doing it. Emulation wasn't a bad way of playing it. I just got a PS3 controller, which was a very good D-pad, so... I also played on the Game Boy Advance a while ago. I think it wasn't that long ago, so I felt very much the same way playing either Game Boy Advance or emulation. On Game Boy Advance it was more charming because it's the hardware, but whatever. Should you play this one? Yeah, I think you should play it. Not like your most priority, but if you're curious, if anything I've said interested you, go feel free to play it, but be advised it will most likely be single player because of the link cable situation. But yeah, thank you very much. I'm so sorry this took so long. I'm really sorry. Uni, and I can't even complain about my job because my job actually has been very lenient. But uni's just... it's my last year. It's supposed to be my last year of uni. So that demands a lot out of me. So I apologize for the content absences there are. Both on Twitch or here, I try to stay on it. But I apologize for my absences, but thank you very much for being patient. Thank you very much for watching, regardless of if you're excitedly waiting for the next Mario Kart part, or if it's just, oh hey, this guy talks about Mario Kart for a while. Thank you, and I hope you have a beautiful day.